Hey everyone, it's Chris. Welcome back to another New Issues, New Week. Today is Wednesday, Happy New Comic Book Day, and Happy Thanksgiving for those of you who celebrates. Tomorrow we got Thanksgiving going on, so I'm excited to be off from work. I can chill and read some comics, hopefully, and get to spend some time with some family and stuff as well. So hopefully y'all get to have a good Thanksgiving. I hope you're not working, hopefully you're after school or whatever it is. If you are working, I'm sure it's probably some essential work, hopefully, so thank you for that. But anyways, today is Wednesday. Like we said, we got a ton of new releases today. I am honestly scared for how much it's gonna cost, but for now, we're not there. We're not at the store. They open in about 30 minutes. So we're gonna go over our last week's reads first before I head over there. Starting off the top, I'll say probably, honestly, there was a lot of solid stuff, but nothing that really like blew me out of the water kind of like level. My favorite read this week was probably the Book of Revelation, issue number 2. Really solid, tons of twists and turns in here that I was not expecting. Yeah, there was just a lot packed into this issue, and not a ton of like action. I mean, there was some action stuff, I guess, but a lot of like dialogue and conflict stuff that was just progressed to a whole new stage that I wasn't even expecting. But it seems like Apocalypse is on the way. Big Age of Revelation thing. So I don't know if the X-Men are going to be the one to stop him. I don't know if Apocalypse can be the one to stop him. I don't know if it's going to be a tag team effort. Who knows? But it seems like that's where we're headed. Omega Kids issue number 2 was really solid as well. Quentin Quire a bit in trouble, and also these kids, I should say one kid, the 8-year-old, the youngest of all these kids from the Omega Kids, is like straight murdering people without a single care in the world, basically eliminating anyone. I forget how they explained it, but basically there's sort of like a layer, like a filter almost that was set up, and it's like if the people can't handle passing it, they're like dead. And she's like, yeah, so what? That's how it should be. So little 8-year-old's going kind of crazy. Hectoplasm, absolutely love this series still. If you didn't watch my video on the first issue, like I said, it's kind of like an adultish Gravity Falls. It feels like a little bit more mature. We got a hunter. He's after this Bigfoot in this town. The art style is really great. It's pretty humorous. Pretty interesting little mystery going on. It's only 3 issues, so I would recommend that one for sure. And then Viking Moon, I really liked this issue a lot more than the first one. I liked the first issue. I thought it was cool, but it kind of just felt like a setup. This one introduced some pretty interesting stuff, but my whole thing is like, whenever there's like a big bad or like an entity or a spirit and someone's like trying to explain it or maybe blow it off or something, and it like kind of gets ignored and then chaos happens. But here, the leader, the king, typically the one who might be like, nah, don't worry about that, it's nonsense. He's the one that bumped into the evil. He saw the wolves and stuff, so he goes back to his tribe and he's like, we gotta leave now. So I kind of like that they're doing it with someone with an actual, head. It's different in movies and TV because they have to act dumb so that we can get things to happen. If someone's smart and achieves it, then there's no conflict. So anyways, I like Viking Moon issue number 2. That was good. Nova Centurion issue number 1. Enjoyed it. I thought it was really solid. I believe this is Jed MacKay. Yeah, this is Jed MacKay. So Jed MacKay writing, who I believe is doing a lot of the Age of Revelation stuff. I think he's doing primarily the Amazing X-Men title. He did like the issue 0 and the Overture. I could be wrong, but I think he's doing like the mainline kind of X-Men thing. But anyways, wrote this one. I really liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. Not quite what I was expecting. It's sort of like a hero for hire thing. At least just like the Nova, this guy, I forget his name, Ryder or something, I think. I don't know. Anyways, Rex Ryder or something like that? I don't know. Rich. Anyways, it's him in the World Mind, and he's not like a bounty hunter, but he just sort of does stuff, like I said, for hire, and he gets paid because I guess he owes a bunch of money. To be honest, it was a couple days ago I read it, I forget what, but basically he's doing jobs because he needs money. It's not really respected otherwise, and at the end I think they introduce sort of like a villain or a bad that he'll have to face up against. Ravenous, I think was the name. So interesting. I'm looking forward to see where it goes. I'll see how issue 2 goes, and then we'll see from there. Speaking of, Twilight Zone issue number 2. Really enjoyed this one. I thought the art style was really cool. I will say, super dense on the text. Like, every page is just so much dialogue. It was a lot of reading, I cannot lie. Like, look at all that. It's a lot of text. But the concept was really cool this time around. It's weird, like, the concept and idea I feel like was a little more out there than, like, the events that actually happened in here. Because once again, it was just a lot of dialogue. Basically, people in space were kind of aliens were presenting themselves as their like thoughts and emotions kind of manipulated. It was sort of like an exposure therapy planet. It was interesting, a little weird, but I liked it nonetheless. Racer X issue number 3, still on par. Last time in Speed Racer issue, I believe it was issue 3 or 4, probably 4. they ended on the Alpine race where Racer X Rex, I guess, originally would have died, and Speed is now racing this for the first time, and he's going through a lot of trouble. Racer X was there to help him out through the race. This issue kind of just shows Racer X's perspective of that race. So both Speed Racer and Racer X are happening like at the same exact time. It's just like jumping back and forth between the two characters. So if you want to read both, you can. If not, you're honestly not missing much by like. Honestly, you could probably just read Speed Racer and you're getting enough Racer X in there, I feel like. But anyways, still a good series, I would recommend. Spawn the Dark Ages. This one was absolutely gorgeous art style. I loved it. I will say, I don't know if it was just the language, the old-timey speak, or what, but I was a little lost on the plot. I couldn't tell if Spawn is like, it seemed like Spawn is like their own person, and then there's this king who needs like help from Spawn. I don't really, I have to reread it, I'm not gonna lie. I do want to reread it. Like I said, it's really gorgeous. The art is super clean, but, you know, I've only ever seen the Spawn movie. I've never read Spawn comics, and I was like, let me check this out. Pretty far out there from what I know about Spawn, so yeah, I'll definitely have to give this one another go. Absolute Flash, last but not least. I think I enjoyed it, but it's still the same, like, I need more Flash, come on. It's just, yeah. I don't know. Every time I read Absolute Flash, I'm expecting something, and it's like, I feel like you gave me one step there, but not the whole thing. We didn't cross the finish line, you know? It just feels like every time I'm waiting for like a little bit more. It was still interesting nonetheless. Like I said, while he was with the Rogues, he did not end up actually joining them. One of the Rogues, I guess, is a mole, a spy, a rat, whatever you want to call it, working with, what's her face? Bad guy, bad woman. And Wally, of course, still wants to help and save his dad. Grodd is the real MVP of this line, if I'm being honest. I love Grodd in this. So it's, you know, it's still a good series. I'm enjoying reading it, but it's just like all the other Absolute lines are doing so much, and it's like blowing my mind every time I read an issue, because I'm like, wow, how did we pack all that into this issue? And this one is like the opposite. I'm like, if every time I finish, I feel so like empty. I'm like, I just was expecting more, and maybe the other Absolute lines are spoiling me in that way, but you know, that things would just be progressing a lot quicker than they are. I thought we'd be getting a lot more answers by now. I thought a lot more events would have occurred by now. It seems like we are leading to a pretty big point. I just have no idea when that'll be, because every issue, every time I think we're going to get there, it's like, oh, more exposition, oh, more minor conflict in between. I'm like, I just want to get to the meat of the story, you know? So we'll see what happens from there. That being said, it is probably just about time. Yep, just about time to leave to my shop. Very excited. So much to grab. We got DCKO issue number 2 and Batman, or Absolute Batman issue number 14 with the Bane fight. I am 100% going to be reading those today, because it's just, yeah, hype beyond belief. So we'll see with the rest of the issues I get, and, you know, how long it takes to read and stuff if I do anymore. But definitely those 2 issues, so stay tuned. Well, much money later. This is definitely the biggest haul I've ever had for a new comic book day. 25 issues we've got. Look at all that. That is some beefy reading to do. Some absolutely incredible stuff releasing today. Some really cool variant covers. A couple of last week's pickups for the Age of Revelation titles I skipped for some reason, even though I knew this week was going to be bigger than last week, so I was like, I'll just get them. Yeah, a lot of money. We're not going to talk about it. I did this in my grocery shopping right after, so the bank account is hurting. But to feel better, we're going to read some good material. So first, we're just going to go through them right off the top. This is in no particular order. This is straight out the bag. So right up here, we've got our Marvel Zombies issue number 3 variant cover. I have all the other like old newspaper style looking variant covers. This one, although not like the newspaper style, still has that look to it. So like kind of similar art style. I don't know if it's the same artist. I'd have to double check. I'm just going to pop it open now so we can see it. And there we go. There's our cover right there. This one's really cool. Thanos, and in between all the split Infinity Stone beads, we got all the just tons of different Marvel characters, all zombies. So very curious to know how broad we go. Usually with the last one, like I said, everyone that's on the cover tends to be showing up. So very curious to see if Thanos shows up with the Infinity Stones, how that goes. Looks like here we've got all of our Age of Revelation stuff. So from last week's titles, like I said, that I did not pick up that I was supposed to, we have got 1, 2, and 3 right here. So once again, last week's releases, but I got them today, was Unbreakable X-Men issue number 2. Gambit showed up in Rogue Storm 2 last week, so I'm curious to know how this will tie into that. Radioactive Spider-Man number 2, and Last Wolverine number 2. So looking forward to all those. And then this week's Age of Revelation title releases, we've got the Expatriate X-Men, we have got the X-vengers, it's a variant cover that I got, Hawkeye and I forget her name, I'm sorry. We've got Undeadpool issue number 2 with Cable appearing, pretty cool. And then we've got Cloak or Dagger issue number 2, another variant cover that I liked. So we got that. That's it for Age of Revelation. I say that's it as if it's not 7 issues. That's like a light weekly pull. After this, wow, I couldn't believe this. I was so happy. Kevin Eastman on the Undead Iron Fist issue number 3. I love the first 2 issues of Undead Iron Fist. I think it's really cool. Like, it's very like light. Like, it's not a super deep story that's going on, it seems, but it's just awesome. I'm really enjoying it. The combat is sweet and the art style is phenomenal. So I was so happy to see Kevin Eastman on the cover here for one of these. I had to get it. Next we got Mortal Thor issue number 4. If y'all watch my videos, last time on Mortal Thor issue number 3, I said I was going to be dropping it. The only reason I picked this one up is because this, I think, is supposed to go into the backstory of Thor and like Asgard and the 9 realms and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be like a lot more outside of what we've been following. So just for that reason I've been curious to see, because I want to see Thor and more of the gods and, like I said, the 9 realms stuff. Otherwise, I'm still iffy on the story, so I'll see how this one goes. Where we go from here, maybe I'll be interested in picking it back up. We'll see. Shredder number 3. So far I've been enjoying Shredder pretty good. Cool little B variant cover, I believe. We got Skinbreaker, issue number 3, I believe, as well. Yeah, I've been absolutely loving Skinbreaker. Skinbreaker is great. The art is phenomenal. The story is really interesting. I love the time jump that we've had so far. The characters, everything is just very interesting world. So excited to see where that goes. Here I've got the DC KO tie-in with Superman. This is the only KO tie-in I got because, once again, way too much here already to be picking up, and there was like 3 or 4 different tie-in releases, and like I said with all the other tie-ins, they seem to tie in very little to the actual DC KO event itself. It seems like it's going more like, here's what's going on in this line while DC KO happens. This one I only got because it seems like it's all about, or not all about, I know it's going to deal with Metropolis a bit, but at least Superman and Lex Luthor seem to be involved in this, and they're in the tournament right now, so I'm just curious to know what happens for that reason there. After that, we've got Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 14. 15 is coming out real soon, which means we're going to have our Batman tie-in. I'm still working on catching up, and I got to get that video out. I mean, it's not like a crazy important thing, but I definitely want to get that video going before we get to issue 15, just because it's going to be a lot to cover. So, Daredevil and Punisher, The Devil's Trigger, issue number 1. I think this is a series. It's at least issue number 1. I don't think it's a one-shot, but very cool. I'm excited for this one. Daredevil and Punisher is always a good combo, so you can't go wrong. Absolute Batman issue number 14. Every single time, no words need to be said. We all know, especially this issue, I can only imagine what is going to happen in here. Batman, Croc, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, maybe more. I don't know if any of the, or if not all of these people are going to be showing up, making an appearance. All I know is we're going to get a big battle the next few issues from here on out. I mean, all of Absolute Batman is crazy, but from now through like 17 or something like that, Scott Snyder's been saying, he you know, for him to say it's crazy, I feel like means extra, because as a reader, I'm like, yeah, these are absolutely insane. But when he's like, these runs, or I don't even know how they let us make these, that's when I'm like, oh my god, time to grip the seat. Next up, we've got Batman, Green Arrow, and The Question Arcadia. I believe this is only going to be like a 4-issue miniseries, but really looking forward to it. I think this is a super cool, like, trio of characters, especially The Question. I know of The Question, but I've never read any of The Question, so very curious. I always love a good DC Black Label story, so yeah, we got that one going. Next up, we've got our DC KO covers. I only have 3 today. I don't know how many there was, I forget, but I got the acetate cover, just the main one, because I didn't get it for the number 1. To be honest, I probably shouldn't have gotten it for today. I've already got enough, plenty. But yeah, it was already in my like pulled list up front when I went to go check out, and I'm like, I'm not gonna ask him to put it back. I'll just leave it in there. So it's still cool. I do like the cover for this one. But yeah, a lot of the like these main covers, in my opinion, haven't been like super crazy. I definitely like the variants more than this, but I just thought, at least for one of them, it'd be cool to have, and I didn't mind this one too much with Lobo and, you know, all the different characters and stuff on there. So, gonna be reading that today along with our Absolute Batman. Other than that, we've got our Daniel Warren Johnson variant cover, Wonder Woman and the Joker. And then we have got, man, I forget, this one I did look at the name actually, and I forget it now. Forgive me, but this one is absolutely phenomenal. I love this, like, yeah, this is just prime cover for me. Yeah, all the lantern rings and all the colors and the heroes' hands and their tools, and there's just so much cool stuff going on in this one, and it's like a very, I don't want to say simple, but like just sleek looking design. Y'all know Escape, one of my absolute favorite series currently, or just of all time, if we're being honest. I know we're only on issue 4, so, but it's definitely one of my favorite things I've ever read as far as comics go. So, Escape issue number 4, really looking forward to that. We've got Immortal Legend Batman issue number 4. I believe this is going to be our Poison Ivy Bruce Wayne that shows up this time. Will Robin and Nightwing finally make an appearance to help out Batman? Probably not. I'm sure that'll be a later thing, but maybe they do. Who knows? We'll see. We've got Dracula, issue number 2. This is the black and white special. I really loved the first one of this. It reminded me a lot of the Nosferatu movie that just came out. What was that, last year or this year? I forget, but yeah. Anyways, give me very big vibes like that. It felt like a fever dream reading it, which is like exactly what, I don't know. Anytime I've seen visual media for Dracula and stuff, it's always like, what is real, what isn't real, and I feel like I get a lot of that when reading this, which is super cool. The art is amazing, and I love the black and white style with it. Also coming from the Universal Monsters, we've got the Invisible Man issue number 4, and this unfortunately is the final issue of this. It's been an awesome series. Every single time it's been super cool. The first one I was like, this is good, I don't know how I feel, we'll see. Number 2, amazing. Number 3, like, yeah, I couldn't, I was like, oh man, there's only one more issue after this. It was like right at the peak point where I was super excited to get into it, so really looking forward to see how we wrap it up. Last but not least, our final issue here, we've got Marvel Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 1. I don't know anything about this. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say this is like a remake comic, maybe, like, or a reprint of some type. Like, I think this is older. I don't have any information on it, to be honest, but I want to say this is like from a couple years back, and this is like a new reprint of it, I guess. So yeah, very interested to see Marvel Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, and not like, you know, this Ultimate Spider-Man, not the current Ultimates, because I did finish the Ultimate Spider-Man trade paperback I have over here, the volume 1, issues 1 through 6, so I definitely want to discuss that soon. But yes, that is going to wrap up all of this. Wow. Like I said, just 25 issues, my biggest haul yet. Alright, so we got 3 issues here. We got DCKO issue number 2. I'm going to start with this one because if I'm being honest, I'm anticipating the Absolute Batman issue number 14, just ever so slightly more. DCKO, I'm really looking forward to, because from what we know, half of the roster is already knocked out. In fact, basically, after this issue is all a bunch of individual, like, one-on-one fight issues. So, like, Superman vs. Atom, Cyborg vs. Swamp Thing, I think it was Wonder Woman vs. Lobo, I forget. But basically all these different matchups, one-on-one fights that were going to be happening, and they're all getting their own issues. So that's, like, the stage 2 of DCKO. Last time we read issue 1, the tournament hadn't even started yet, but Batman had been eliminated. Joker is now in it, and that's where we're at. So how we're going to bridge the gap between starting the tournament and knocking out half the roster in this one issue, I'm very curious to see. That being said, like I just mentioned, I am ever so slightly interested in this, just a tad bit more. I think DCKO, I'm just like I don't even know what to expect anymore, that I'm just waiting to see what happens. I'm sure it's going to be good. This, I always have high expectations for, and they've never let me down. They've only blown the expectations out of the water every issue, so I'm sure it's only going to go up from this issue. And last but not least, I was trying to debate. I was like, I want to do a third one today, but I could not decide because there was a lot of them. I almost went with Daredevil and Punisher. Coming up, you know, for next week's issues or any future releases in the future, if you are interested in seeing me cover a specific comic, feel free to leave it in the comments below and I will happily do so. But today I chose to do the finale of The Invisible Man issue number 4. I thought since, you know, last one, and I've been enjoying it so much, we'll just wrap it up here in today's video and sort of knock it out the way. And yeah, we'll be done with that series afterwards. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into DCKO issue number 2. I'm very excited. Alright, just barely in a couple pages, but already we're kicking it off strong. This spread, this page is awesome. Yeah, basically, how I was saying, I don't know how we're gonna chop out half the competitors in this issue. This is how we're doing it. So, 16 items, which are like all different weapons or tools. Like we saw the lantern rings on the one variant cover. There's the Speed Force ring, God Killer Sword, the Blue Beetle, Mother Box, all this different stuff. But there's 16 weapons, and they're hidden in this realm where they're fighting, and the 32 of them have to go find one, and by the end of the round, if they don't have a weapon, they're eliminated. So the part that sucks, once again, is like, we already know who's eliminated because of the announcements and everything. So I don't know. I'm excited still to read it and see what happens. Maybe there's a twist, but yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, I wish they didn't spoil it so soon. Choo! Yeah, that was a crazy page. Joker just did some damage. Wow, that was cool. What? What? Okay. Damn. Yep. Alright. So that is DCKO issue number 2. So, yeah. Even though, like I said, I was like, how are we gonna do it in this issue? They still made it super entertaining. It wasn't, boring at all. Even though I didn't know what to expect. It was kind of what I expected as far as how the round or how the issue, once I read the beginning, this page basically, once I read this, I'm like, okay, I think I know how this is gonna go. And it pretty much did. It wasn't just like, hey, grab a thing, and if you don't have it, you're eliminated. It was very much still a battle, so a lot of people were taking each other out, especially the villains. Of course, people were battling to get a lot of the items, but there were just straight up deaths that were happening, like Joker stomping on characters and eating them. We got Plastic Man. My dog Plastic Man told Metamorpho what he was made out of, and Metamorpho was like, okay, and then just destroyed him. So that sucks. I thought Plastic Man was going to have a lot more potential than that. Harley got the Flash ring, which I remember seeing a while back, and I was like, how is she ever going to advance? And then I remember seeing her with some electricity and stuff. I'm like, oh, maybe she gets Flash powers. So Harley's got that. Lex got the Black Lantern ring, which was really cool, also really scary thought. It was, what's her face, Star Sapphire, that almost stopped him, and she got all the other rings, and then he ended up snatching the black one from her, which he said was the only one he wanted anyways. So he used it to revive like all the dead elder gods and stuff like that on their battlefield that Darkseid had killed in the past. Even still, he also has a blade that uses the power of the the dimension. He has a blade made out of the Phantom Zone dimension, basically, and he takes Superman's hand off, which was crazy. Yeah, whole bunch of different stuff. Lobo got the Bane juice. Starro was controlling a bunch of people. He put starfishes on people's face and was controlling a bunch of the different combatants for a little while, all up until Wonder Woman got Thor's hammer. Was really cool, and she broke everyone free. Red Hood with the Blue Beetle. So many different ones. So many different like cool little team ups and like eventful things that were happening in here. Like I said, that kept it from being like straightforward and just like a very, I don't want to say boring, but yeah, this definitely was far from boring. This was super entertaining. Seeing all the different weapons and all the matchups and everyone battling each other still was very cool. Superman, or Clark, basically kills Superman, which was crazy. He just kind of stabs himself and then ends up coming back as or with the secret item, the 16th secret item, I guess, which was the Omega Sanction. So Superman basically now wields Darkseid's powers. He's got the lasers and I guess the drive, the fuel, whatever is inside of him that makes him want to fight now. Because he says he's decimating the Elder Gods that Darkseid did ages ago or whatever. And he's saying it feels good. And he wants to stop everyone. He wants to stop all of the villains. Sorry, so many names and so many terms to remember. The Legion of Doom, the villains. He wants to stop them. And then finally, as he's about to take on Lex, the final item is picked up, and everyone else who does not have our items is eliminated. So final roster. We got everyone that we already know who's going to be coming up in the next couple matches. And then final last page reveal back at the Watchtower. So we know Darkseid was controlling Booster Gold, kind of like possessed inside of him or whatever, taking over. And now he's revealed himself, and he's got Time Trapper by the throats, and he's saying it's time for Darkseid to enter the arena. So who knows where we're going to go from there. Like I said, I know apart from the Superman one, I think the Superman Unlimited issue was mentioned in here, but there was also the Flash issue that released, which I don't think really has much to do with what's going on in this. And then the Justice League Unlimited one for the Mr. Terrific and his team that went to hell. I know there was a little bit going on at the Watchtower in that issue, so I don't know if we're going to see any of the Time Trapper Booster Gold stuff that just occurred in that issue. I don't know, to be honest, so that might be one worth checking out eventually. But for now with this, I'm very happy. I'm very much still looking forward to what comes next in DCKO. I know the next couple issues, was it issue 3, I think, even if not issue 4, because I think those are the last 2, but I think issue 3 is supposed to introduce our absolute heroes. They look like villains. Basically, Darkseid is controlling the absolute heroes in this tournament, so they'll be joining in and fighting the rest of these. So Absolute versus the DC people, and the Absolute ones are going to be like Darkseid possessed, I guess. I don't know, but can't wait. Such a cool event, truly. This is my first live event that I get to experience like this as a new comic reader picking up issues off the shelf. So I really am loving this one. This is awesome. Alrighty, here we go. Absolute Batman issue number 14. I don't have anything else to say. We all know what this is about to be. I'm sure it's going to end on a crazy cliffhanger that is going to get me jumping out of my seat. So let's do it. Also, I want to add real quick, just because there's a panel popping up here. I didn't expect it to be this early, but Dick Grayson's making his second appearance in this. First time he was having to bicycle injured people that Batman beat up, and he was swearing at Batman. This time he's watching TV or whatever, and it's the news about the fight with Batman, and once again he's swearing at Batman. So he's a little bit older, definitely not a kid. The talks that it seems is that Dick Grayson is going to be a Batman rival, that whether he's good or not, I don't think he'll become a villain. If he does, that's crazy, but he might just become his own hero of sorts without Batman sort of adopting and raising him and stuff. I think they're going to be adversaries, so I'm really looking forward to that, whatever aspects that might be in. I've been looking forward to this too, because the past couple issues for the Abomination line and with Killer Croc, we saw Bruce preparing Waylon for this big fight that Bruce was just like, unfortunately, pretty certain that Waylon was going to lose it. Even from the jump, he was just like, I don't see how this is possible, so he tried to cut deals and stuff, whatever. Anyways, this whole time they've been teasing this little like fight, this story going on in his past where it's just like, you're up against an insurmountable force, and Waylon's like, man, I knew this was going to be tough. I know you're not like a trainer like that. He's like, I just wanted you to be my trainer because I knew the kind of person you are and the kind of attitude you have. I know that you would do this without backing down, so that's why I wanted you to be my trainer. We never saw the fight, but finally it's popping up here, so we might be getting a bunch of the parallels with that fight and this fight. Here's hoping. Damn, bro. He is huge. I'm sure they're only going to show it further in panels. I'm sorry I can't get closer, but like kind of this bottom half of the page right here. We saw Bane once again big, and he's holding Batman, and Batman's like half his size. He's like a building size. He's crazy. Oh, dude. Ooh, that like full body chills there. Oh, God. It's so good. It's so good, man. What can I say? This is like just absolute peak. Oh my god. It's so good. It's like, I know I said Absolute Martian Manhunter is like one of my favorite things I've ever read, just period, because I think it's not only a phenomenal story, like what they do in 6 issues is amazing, but it also like uses the medium of comic book storytelling to like its fullest potential. Like if you ever wanted to be like, oh, I read comics, why not read a book or watch TV or movie or whatever, Absolute Martian Manhunter is like this is how comics are supposed to be utilized, on top of an amazing story and beautiful art and all that. Absolute Batman is just like, it's contending so hard for that number one spot of my absolute favorites because it's just so good. It's like everything about Batman, but once again to like the max. It's just like so much brutality and so much heart, and like it's like literally taking every slider and cranking it to the top. It's everything that you would like never expect it to be. It pushes boundaries, man. It's so cool. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. It's amazing. It's the whole thing is the fight between Batman and Bane, and like I said, I thought it was gonna be like cliffhanger. I thought this might have been like a two-part thing, but I guess next issue is the Joker one, which I didn't realize it was so soon. So yeah, the whole fight takes place in this issue. We get our conclusion. Like I said, we're bouncing back and forth between their fight as well as Wayland's fight. You know, seeing what happened in the past. Once again, Batman is teamed up with all his allies. We've got Harley, the Red Hood gang. We've got Catwoman. We got Croc. They're all here helping him out. Even Alfred is there. They've got a plan. You know, they're gonna wear Bane down. And at the very last minute, when Bane has used up all of his reserves and Batman probably has nothing left, Batman will use his Bane, and that is how we will stop him, by hopefully being strong enough, right? Because it's the last infusion that Batman has to use his powers or whatever. So the whole thing is just Bruce and the team, and they're just absolutely wailing on Bane. Bruce is slicing and dicing him up. Alfred like pierces him with the Batmobile. Bruce pulls out like one of his eyes almost. He's constantly being lit up with like gunfire and stuff from like Harley and the Red Hood gang, it seems. They're televising the whole thing. Croc gets brought out about halfway through. He just starts devouring Bane, and it looks so cool with his whole like mouth that goes all the way down his body, just his whole torso being wrapped around Bane. It's amazing. There's just, once again, so much brutality. At one point I was really nervous because Bane, almost like here at the end of the fight, he is just humongous. Bane has surpassed all limits beyond imaginable. All the doctors, everyone watching, they're like, this guy has no max. He is crazy. He's a absolute creature to behold for one, you know. Anyways, he's got Croc by the mouth, and he starts doing the classic like King Kong jaw split, and I was so nervous. But Batman stops him just in time. He goes down his back with his axe and severs a bit of his spine and his nerves, so he starts to lose feeling in his body. He can't use his legs or his arms and stuff like that. Bane gives like one final explosion, just burst of, you know, his venom. He goes crazy. He just starts pounding and pounding Batman, like literally smashing Batman into a crater in the earth. Batman ends up using the venom, which, surprise twist, he took the venom out of himself and put it into bullets. Catwoman shoots them into Bane's back, exposed where his sort of setup is, or whatever the rig is, I guess, for his sort of center for his venom. And Catwoman lights it up with the little venom darts, and Bane just explodes with one final axe to the head from Batman. So absolutely phenomenal. I just like, I couldn't believe it. Some other things, once again, the fight with Wayland going on. Wayland actually ends up winning that fight. Bruce reveals, I bet everything on you. I even took Falcone's money and I bet it on you. So like, we're both champions. The thing with the Riddler is really interesting going on. So we have Oz and Harvey are in the hospital, and they were watching the fight on the TV we saw, and Harvey at least seemed pretty happy about that, which is good. But the Riddler, or, you know, Enigma, whatever, he is like still a human, I guess, but he's just modified, because I was under the impression that he's like kind of just all computer now, and maybe he is, I don't know, but he is still like working with Batman and Catwoman and stuff. He's still like part of the team, and he's just helping them, but he's like half computerized now, so not quite sure what's going on with him yet, if he's just gonna be like an ally, just kind of like side character, and that's who he is now, or if he's gonna turn bad at any point. No idea. Bane, just a big pile of mush, gets kicked out into the water outside of Gotham, which I guess that's one way to handle it. Catwoman escapes with one of the venom vials, the venom that got taken out of Batman. I guess she kept one, whether that's a secret or not, I don't know, but it's her leaving on a plane, and she's got one with her, so who knows where she's taking that to, but venom is still around. And finally, last page, Doctor is talking to what remnants of Bane there are because he's regenerating, and I guess they collected pieces of him, but we've got like his brain and his eyeballs and stuff floating in this tube here. And the Doctor puts him on the line with Joker, and Joker's like, I know we talked about retirement, but that island you wanted to go to with your family, that's just kind of gonna get in the way, and I need you to do some more work. So he, like, live footage shows Bane in this tank video of this island that Bane liberated and wanted to escape to being blown up. So Joker just destroyed it and said, well, can't retire and go to that island if there's no island to go to, so might as well keep being my soldier because I know you really love this war. So Joker, an absolute monster. Yeah, just unbelievable. And seeing with what just happened with Joker and knowing that Joker's coming next, I can't even begin to imagine the nightmare that is about to ensue. So definitely enjoyed this more than DCKO number 2. This was just, yeah, this series is something else, man. Shout out Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta. Who's this? Martin, forgive me. I want to get the credits. Dragotta and Martin on the cover. Guillaume March, Dave Johnson variant covers, Clayman and Seth Mann, Guillaume March, yeah, all these different people. Frank Martin colors, Clayton Cowsletter. Shout out everyone involved. Just absolute. Batman is an absolute banger. We all know this. Finally, our last issue for today. The Invisible Man issue number 4, last of the series. Very excited, also a little sad that it's over. Was just really starting to get into it after last issue, so let's see what happens, how we wrap it up. Yeah, that was really good. So I guess didn't quite wrapped up what I was expecting it to, but it went a little bit further. So overall, really great story. But yeah, specifically in this issue, we basically have our lead antagonist, I would almost call him. He is sort of just on edge, paranoid all the time because the boy Tommy, who he turned invisible last issue, is escaped. He's out on, the limb. He's wherever he is. He's doing who knows what, but all the while, he could be coming after me. I did this to him, so surely he's going to come back to get his vengeance at some point. So he's just always on edge, always paranoid. He's kind of stopped his research, but he's like, you know what? He receives a letter from Tommy, and Tommy's like, I'm going to ruin your life piece by piece or whatever. So he's like, all right, I'm going to bunker down and I'm going to beat this kid. So he goes back to the lab where it all started. He like sort of booby traps the place, not booby trap, but like, sets it up with flour and stuff so you can always see footprints and everything. He was starting to do experiments on himself, so basically everything he had done to Tommy, he redid it to himself, and he actually did indeed turn himself invisible. He succeeded, and in fact he even said, he's like, I almost want to thank Tommy for destroying my research because I feel like I perfected it, I did it better. My mind back then was lesser, and now I've, truly succeeded or whatever. So he's invisible. Tommy does finally show up to try and take him out, to kill him. Once again, trap was sort of set for him, gets covered in flour and stuff, and now our Invisible Man is after Tommy, who's also invisible sort of, but they go out into the snow together. He ends up like hitting the kid with the brick and he falls on the floor, and he's telling him, he's like, you're so stupid, you're a failure, you had all this power, you could have been the ruler of the world, and the kid's telling him, this isn't life, this isn't even half a life, this is nothing. He's like, you're gonna die alone and miserable because what you want is like this, you're a monster, you're soulless. You're never going to get anything that you want. And kid basically tells him, I know that this is uncurable, the only cure for me is death, so just cure me and move on with it. He ends up knocking the kid out or whatever, and he does in fact give the kid a cure, which turns out he makes one. So he gives the kid the cure, kid becomes visible again, and he sort of sets him up out in the alley, and some people come and find the kid. So Tommy is okay, actually. He's not invisible, and he's going to be alive. Which is good. So I wasn't expecting that part, him to spare him. I guess that was a pretty, that the bar is very, very low for this man, but at least he didn't do anything to the kid, long-term harm, I guess. So Tommy's gonna be okay, and our man is now invisible, and he kind of just wraps it up by leaving town, and he's saying, basically now, I want to be able to have the power to go back and forth, to be visible and invisible at will, and he's like, now I just have to figure out how to get back. So I don't know. I don't know if the cure was like a one-time thing that he had, and now he has to figure out a different cure for himself or what. But it seems like he at least took some of what Tommy said and understood it, and that he can't go on being invisible forever. So whether or not he chooses to do good or bad from here on out with it, I guess we'll see. I mean, not that we'll see, but who knows? Up to the imagination. Because he's done with his research. He left town. He left his partner. Her dad, who was funding all his research and everything. So he might just be completely starting anew now. Not entirely sure. So yeah, it was cool. I am really interested to watch the movie, the classic Invisible Man movie, because I don't know how much of this is similar to that, if they're the same at all. I've seen like images of the guy and stuff, so I know he looks similar with like the hat and the glasses and the wrap and all that stuff. But like I said, I don't know if it has to do with like the scientists and the boy and the animals and stuff, or if it's always just like on him, or what the story at all for it is. So I'm curious to watch it now. But yeah, great little 4-issue series there. Really looking forward to the rest of the Universal Monster stuff. I think I was looking at the back here. It looks like The Mummy is out already, and then they put a preview for Phantom of the Opera #1, which I guess is coming. Dracula I have over there on the shelf you already saw. So yeah, I'll be reading more of these. They're really good. So yeah, that is gonna wrap up this video for today. Hopefully not too much of a long one, but I know I did a lot of pausing and talking in between. So I hope you all enjoyed these issues this week. There was a lot of releases. So I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving off and gets to enjoy some time with family, friends, or even alone and reading some comics, catching up. So hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.